What is your reaction to the Pac-12 postponing the football season out of the fall?
Well, I think there's two different reasons, and the Big 12 or the Big Ten and the Pac-12 are in two separate categories here. The Pac-12 had 4 teams in California that couldn't even practice, so their hands were tied a little bit. Theirs is a little more, in some ways, justified because of the logistics of getting kids on the field. It couldn't happen. For the Big Ten, it seems like more of a liability issue, and really this heart condition that is connected with COVID. And basically, it's bottom line liability. The Big Ten doesn't want to own that liability, and essentially they're saying we can't guarantee that there's a 0% chance of death, right? If these guys play, we can't guarantee that nobody dies. The chances are probably very low, but we can't say it's 0. So nobody thinks that this season is worth the life of a college football player. Therefore, they just basically said, listen, we're not going to handle this. But I think you know my views on this, Greeny, and we haven't spoken in a while. I think this is much bigger, and I'm not trying to minimize COVID. I know this is a very serious virus. People are dying. That's not the point I'm making here. The point I'm making is the NCAA and these conferences have a much bigger fight on their hands, and that's moving forward with how they're going to compensate these players based on their name, image, and likeness. And they're already asking for 50-50. I don't know if that's the answer, but, just so we're clear, players' scholarship and everything, the revenue that they bring in for the entire school, their scholarship only makes up like 10% of that. So somewhere between 10% and 50%, there's going to be a happy medium. But I think that's the real issue that we're going to run into here in the near future, and we might be at a standstill next college football season.
Yeah, there might be a medium. I'm not sure how happy it'll be for the people who've been running the system for a long time. That's well said. RC, let me quickly come to you. I hate to always ask these kind of personal questions, but you have a son who plays in the Pac-12. Again, the juxtaposition, the Big Ten parents are protesting. David Shaw's telling me his players expressed gratitude. What was your reaction to that decision? Where did it fall in that spectrum?
I think it fell somewhere in the middle. I mean, obviously, you just want your child to be okay. I mean, we're both fathers, and we understand that the most important things in our lives are our families. And so you want your children to be taken care of. You want them to be looked after. And I think there was that feeling that, the Pac-12 is looking out for the best interest of its players. And then on the other side of it, as Mark mentioned, it wasn't lost on me that the Big Ten, who had players step up and demand certain things, and the Pac-12, who had players step up and demand certain things, are the only 2 Power 5 conferences that have decided to not play football, have decided to quiet that voice, at least for now, whether it's liability or issues going forward. And my son's best friend plays for Stanford. My son's best friend is from Louisiana. They went to the same high school. He was his big brother at the University Laboratory School, and he wanted to play. He's also understood the situation. He understands the type of place we are in as a society as it deals with COVID. And I think everyone is just trying to figure it out. The one thing I can say is the Pac-12 leading up to this, you can always kind of see that they were leaning toward canceling the season or postponing it. Now, the big thing for me is when you listen to David Shaw talk about some of the uncertainties of COVID, what's the difference in January? What's the difference in February, in March? And then once you put that into place, do you want these young men playing 2 football seasons in 1 calendar year? And so I think there's still a lot to be figured out. But for now, at least they've rid themselves of putting out players and young men that could possibly die from this illness.
And Louis, I have only a minute here. I apologize for that. But quickly, how about the player evaluation piece of this? For all these kids who will not play, and maybe there won't even be a season anywhere when it's all said and done, how will that impact next year's NFL draft for those people making those decisions?
Well, I think, look, obviously scouts will just have to go to what they have to go to, which is the 2019 season, Greeny, and make their evaluations based off of that. Really beat the bushes this coming fall and make sure that these players who don't play this year have been doing the things that they need to do as far as taking care of their bodies physically and making sure they're not getting into trouble off the field. And then they're just going to have to then project what their performance is going to be going forward once the 2021 draft rolls around. Everyone's in the same boat. Nobody has a competitive advantage as far as the teams in the NFL. And everyone's just going to have to really do their best job of projecting going forward. But make no mistake about it. I mean, if I'm an NFL scout, if I was someone who was working in the NFL right now and one of these players, was on the fence right now about should I play, shouldn't I play, should I play in the spring if there's a spring season, I'd be telling them all, nah. We got you. We know what you can do. Just make sure you take care of yourself and just make sure you're ready to go once you hit our league.
Yep.
Because right now, things are not set up for these guys to succeed.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.